Morning again, everybody. Chronicles, somewhere was calling it, whatever we're calling it, and I had a good night's sleep last night, and I hope you did too. It was very fresh air around here, and the humidity that was there the 2 days before it passed. So, been hearing a lot this thing about this whole thing of the new normal. No, this is taking on a sort of a multi-aspect, multifaceted element to it. It's not, like I'm anything but a traditionalist in the sense of like I think like a family should be two parents and two kids for it to get it right, or that I'm quite open-minded about everything. I have no issue with anyone's private life if they're into anything. Once it's consenting adults who have agreed among themselves, I just don't care. It's your own private business. So, the only thing I would really draw the line on is bringing children into it and bestiality, because that's truly degenerate, because a child doesn't know what's doing and an animal doesn't really know what's happening, or the intentions of the predator moving in on them. Now, I was looking at that whole thing. You've heard that Desmond is amazing thing, and basically an 11-year-old drag queen who acts like he's about four. Some seriously, how the parents have not been arrested and charged is beyond me. If it was a little girl, it would be, but the same people who are pushing that Desmond is amazing thing, the same media, the same establishment, they're also the one telling you to stay indoors and stay safe and stop spreading diseases that that you want. The ones go, you must want people to die. Those types. They're also the ones out clapping for workers in the NHS and other medical staff. They would clap for anybody, any authority figure who made them clap. They will clap for that. Now, the new normal thing is they keep saying it will never go back to normal. We have to go to restaurants where there's plastic around the tables. No, no one will go to those restaurants. That won't happen. And we can't hug, kiss, or greet each other with handshakes ever again. Get the fuck out of here with that. This is because I told you these people themselves, they're not comfortable. This is why they're not comfortable with, expressing emotions and healthy affection amongst each other. And this is why they end up on Epstein's Island having sex with children. This is what they're like. Now that's that they can't connect to others, so they try to stop us from being like that as well. And it's probably one of the reasons they targeted Italy most of all, and Spain. These are very affectionate cultures, very touchy-feely places. So is Ireland as well, and so that just feeds into that. Like let's kill them at the very. See, the thing is that the globalists have always despised cultures, because traditional cultures, is always what has gotten in the way of their new normal, the global culture they want. Now, not being content with just that, I've noticed that they're back with the DMT thing and the LSD and psychedelic thing again. Bernays net, Edward Bernays Netflix has is releasing a new film on psychedelics, and it's just like that awful God Particle film, except this time it's not just Freemasons running it; it's Freemasons and arsehole celebrities saying the same things, that like if we'd have world peace. The same. This is one of the reasons I went right off Graham Hancock. He was promoting this idea we'd have world peace if we took, entheogens all the time. We wouldn't. It's escapism. It's soma. And so they're now, this is part of the whole pharmacology thing. We're not even allowed a right to our own consciousness anymore. We're now totally, that's the new normal, is that they want to control our subconscious and our consciousness right down to the lower poles of cognition. This is, they will not leave us alone. They see us as do you remember people like Bill Gates and the rest of them see us as a troublesome lab rat. That's how they see you. That's how they see us. We're lab rats who don't comply to the experiments they're performing. And so they have to retrain us in a kind of a Pavlovian way. And they've done it with the fear of the unknown virus. But it's amazing that, like, now, something's happened today. Trump is basically going to go to war against the Obama administration, and these are the people who tried to stitch Trump up with this fake Russian collusion thing. That you had celebrities like Moby and everyone else screaming that they saw proof of this. This is unprecedented. Obama is a neocon like the Trump, like the Bushes and Trump's. Trump knows this, and he's part. You know, it's amazing to think that Trump's 2020 campaign may revolve around the attacking of Obama. Now that's quite remarkable because that takes balls of steel. To many normies, Obama, even though he was one of the most murderous people in history of the late 20th century, is held up as some kind of glorious sainted being because he danced with Ellen DeGenerate on her stupid TV show. And she's another one. Have you noticed that her charisma is now completely gone? Like so many of them, they're screaming. So it's like the Trump curse. It really does exist. You go after Trump and you're cursed, and it backfires horribly on you. Now she is like now like gone. You know, everyone was supposed to love Ellen DeGeneres, and now she's gone. Now she's completely hated by so many people, and she looks more bizarre, twisted, and distorted looking. And you know, I don't know the full implications of the Trump thing, Trump Obama thing, but it's going to get very fucking juicy, and it'll definitely. You see, this is why they want a new normal. They don't want the old world because the old world is people like Hillary Clinton and Obama going to prison. People like people's associations and what they were really doing with Epstein being hidden and forgotten. Like, oh, that's the old world. The new world is not like that anymore. You have to remember the whole. This is like all gaslighting. The whole agenda behind the new normal is to hide the old normal, and that was Prince Andy, Prince. If we have a new reality where people have to have their consciousness wiped clean, well, then then it won't matter that these people went to Epstein's Island and were cutting all this stuff. That won't matter because that was the old world. You understand what I'm saying? See how the gaslighting is working? Now we're in the new world. And fair play to Trump. As soon as they're expecting to get their new normal, he suddenly goes after the old world, the old normal. Obama, uh, full on. It's quite remarkable to watch. There really is a civil war going on in the world, and it's between people who are trying to maintain Western civilization, and people who are trying to usher in now this technocratic uh, new normal. Now, I know, like, regardless of what you think of Trump, you have to admit there's been nothing like him ever before. And I'm not putting him up on a pedestal of worshipping him like as a political savior, but I'm putting him up. I'm putting him out there and acknowledging the fact that he is ideal for the battle we have right now. Now, yesterday, because he's not a politician, it's as simple as that. He doesn't come from the demonic world of politics. Now, yesterday, Enoch Crane appeared amazingly on the closing statements of AV11. And the man's mind was as sharp and he had that fire in his belly that he always had. And yeah, he's lost a lot of weight, which, oh yeah, always happens when you have those serious operations and cancer and stuff like that. But he'll gain that back because he, that was a battle he had to deal with. And he came through it and he's been given, I now look up to him as almost like a general or something. And he always was a mentor, but like now he's like a general and or something. And his illness has done a lot to heal rifts in the alternative scene. There would have been people in the alternative media that I knew through Ian and stuff that maybe their Christianity bothered me and things like that. And I thought, but I put all that aside now. I don't care about that anymore. Again, it's not because I don't think people are not entitled to their own religious path. It's just that I don't like it being pushed, but like that's okay. But it's been a catalyst in many ways, and a very positive thing. I think Ian being sick reminded all of us that we're basically soldiers in the same army, and I have a little part to play, and others have a bigger part to play, and the battle is absolutely 100% spiritual. Even the whole thing of all those things of getting politically active, contacting media, dealing with the police, dealing with people who can help you, trying to, which you shouldn't really confront people to wake them up, but spreading knowledge would be a better way of putting it. It's all ultimately back to us. There's something not human in all this. When I look at Bill Gates, I don't see a human being. When I look at Hillary Clinton, I don't see a human being. When I look at Desmond is amazing, I don't see a human being child. When I look at Ellen DeGeneres, I don't see a human being. And I see now, there's all kinds of things like, well, it's the reptilians and all. These are just names that you can throw on there, but it's all happening at the same time. We're being told that UFOs are real. It's almost like we're living in a real life science fiction movie. And I do believe, and you've been hearing me saying this for years, that there's a non human consciousness. You can call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter. In Ireland, it was traditionally known as the fairies, and other cultures, the jinn, and the other Wetiko, and whatever you want to call it. But it's real. It's difficult to explain because it's hard to cognitively express its dynamics using the model of framework of cognition and biology and intellectual whatever that we have. And that's where metaphor and allegory works the best. But it's not a war of good of evil. It's a war for supremacy of the five sense reality of this planet. And it's it's about it's just like it's about stewardship of this planet. Now, one of the things that I think human beings have that's amiable, although we're told it's not, but it's not true, we do, is that we love nature. And that this nature of this planet and our bond with this nature of this planet, whether it's people who grow flowers in their gardens or cut open a vegetable and see how pretty the rings are inside it, people who go on hikes in the woods to hear bird song, or we all love nature, we really do. And it's this connection with this nature on this planet is proof for me that we are meant to be on this planet as the stewards of this natural environment. And these individuals are trying to disconnect us from nature, whether it's been putting chips inside us or filling us full of chemicals, or telling us that if you're a real environmentalist, you see human beings as separate from nature. That's a big part of the transhumanist thing. There's nature and there's humans. No, we are nature. We are the same thing, and we'd have a genuine bond with it. Like, the average person has a far deeper bond with nature than any climate change activist ever has. They don't have any bond with nature. To them, it's a philosophical, political concept. For the rest of us, it's something like watching a flower opening or enjoying a sunset. They don't get that. They purely see nature as a political tool to advance a sort of like a globalist socialist agenda. And this is what part of their new normal. And it's not normal because it's not nature. And this is where it's this so it's not good and evil. It's nature versus anti-nature. That's the way I see it. And Brian Gerrish gave a closing address to AV11 that was very stirring, and he's right. It's a spiritual battle, and our world is run by lunatics. Some are psychopaths, many are criminals. Lots of them are sex freaks, sex cases, and pedophiles, and they're involved with other They're either interbred or involved or controlled by these other forces who want this planet. Now, human beings have been here for millions of years and we've staked a foothold on this planet. And we fought and died and killed each other for this planet. And we're not going to give it up. We're not going to hand it over like to the same demonic force that is inside Greta Thunberg. You look at Greta Thunberg and you see the same look in her eyes that's inside Desmond is Amazing, that's inside Bill Gates, that's inside Ellen DeGeneres, that's inside Hillary Clinton, that's inside Bill Clinton, it's inside many of your politicians and big shots, CEOs, and from Soros to Kissinger. She has the same look in her eyes. There's not a human being in there. And they say things like, "Oh, she's autistic" or something. It's not. I don't believe that. She is not in there. There's something else in there, and I've noticed too that there's a developmental issue with a lot of them. Greta Thunberg is getting close to being able to vote and serve in the military, yet she is promoted and acts like a 9-year-old. Desmond is Amazing has an intellectual capacity of a 4-year-old when you see him talking, which shows that there's probably something else inside them that's not fully developed, and this is very odd that don't have the same developmental processes that human beings have. They're pretending they're imposters, and I've no doubt that we have no problem winning this battle. There's lots of reasons why we own this planet, humans, for a reason. We're not easy to defeat. We have extremely complex cognition. This is one of the reasons they want everyone on DMT and Soma and LSD. They want to destroy those snappy, sarcastic, witty, bardic elements within us. They want that all over. They want that. They want to end that. And Christianity was a huge part of that. Love thy brother and all this kind of thing, and turn the other cheek. And that's one of the biggest problems I have with Christianity. That is basically was invented by the control system to protect itself. Love thy brother, love thy enemy. Pagans were never like that. I mean, you had in paganism, in the Bhagavad Gita, in Hinduism, fight Arjuna, fight. And the gods fought in the pagan world, and they carried swords and weapons and fought for what they needed to fight for. And this is another reason we've been damaged. Now, it's quite amazing to see people who, they're going to say things like, "Well, it was a disaster, the lockdown, it was unnecessary, but it was better safe than sorry." The ones who will be saying this will be like civil servants, bureaucrats, government workers, journalists, people who won't lose their jobs, and they'll be smugly saying this. "Well, we did the right thing, even though it destroyed the economy." That they're saying that because they still have jobs. And you're going to see things like, it's already happened in Northern Ireland, but massive pay raises for civil servants to further entrench them into the system, to turn them, to drive a deeper and deeper wedge between them. The governments, the politicians, and the corporations will be love bombing them through financial, pay raises, to drive a deeper wedge between them and the unemployed private sector worker. And this is what's happening. They want that. They want that. They want civil servants to, which many of them do, feel like they're an elite caste who have control over the rest of us. But of course, it's not going to work. It's going to fail, and it's little things like just when you think to yourself, it's all stitched up. Then you see something like, on a Monday morning, you wake up and there is President Donald Trump of the United States going to war against the previous president and wanting him arrested and put in jail. This is astounding stuff. And at the same time, too, when people said, well, they admitted that UFOs were real, but no one gave a shit. Well, that's because we all knew in our hearts that UFOs were real. We just didn't know what they were. And that was a very interesting development in so many ways. And you're living in amazing times. This is one of the reasons. That was one of the things when I was watching Ian R. Crane's and Brian Gersh's final closing statements yesterday. And the thing was popping to my head, what amazing times we live in. That there's not only the political or the counter revolutionary or counter culture stuff, but there's also a third part that's made up of people in this alternative scene who are not part of any of the structures created by the mainstream. We're completely outside it. Yet we're all very diverse and different. We don't have, this is what drives them insane. We don't have a working framework. I don't hold up a list of guiding principles to you every day. I don't hold up a constitution and say this is the Sheridan Constitution. This is the Sheridan, you know, protocols. I don't do that. Every day could be something else. We move. We're true consciousness insurgents. These are the truth. We're true consciousness insurgents, and uh, we uh, we meander through the miasma of gaslighting and crazy making that they generate for us. And it's unprecedented in history. There's never been anyone like us. Even anarchists in the anarchist movement in the past, they all worked with a framework of attacking politicians with bombs and stuff. Like, we don't even bother with that. We don't even attack them. We This is the future. This is what it is, right? They're trying to create a new normal that will suit them, right? We as individuals and as communities and as, those of us who like would watch this channel and have a common consensus, we are generating a reality that's supplemental to that. It doesn't matter what new normal they create. There's enough of us now up here who are creating our own new normal. And always remember that. Always remember that you have that ability, that they can, no matter what they do, you can always get inside yourself and fight from the inside out. And the first thing to that is to never, like, it's simple little things like they're saying that you can't shake hands anymore. If you meet me, shake my hands, and if you want to give me a hug or a kiss, no new normal for me there. And I'm not going to change that way, and there's no reason why you should either. But they want to do that because they themselves, the same ones who tell you that you can't shake hands or hug or kiss your adult friends anymore, your family members, your loved ones, are the same ones who think Desmond is amazing and go to Epstein's Island. Always know that. Always know where the information is coming from. And we're not alone in this. That's the most amazing thing of all. Like I used to remember, like 6, 7 years ago, I'd be reading about the war crimes committed by Clinton and Obama, and I'm saying these people are being praised by the media for doing some of the most atrocious war crimes that has ever been unleashed in places like Libya and in Afghanistan and so on. And they're being praised as being great peace. And then out of the blue comes this Trump guy. And here we are 6 years later, and basically Clinton and Obama are on the run. And we didn't engineer this, we didn't ask for this necessarily, we didn't fight for this. The universe provided. And this is what will happen with everything they do. They they're just trying to change consciousness enough so we don't lose hope. So we lose hope. And the thing is that hope is a word that means nothing. But they love the word hope. What they really want, what you really want, is to envision the future. Like I always say, to see yourself. Yeah, the economy is destroyed by this mass media, civil service spooks, and big pharma types, and all the clappers on a Thursday night. But you ignore all that. You envision yourself 6 months from now making a good living in a job, providing for your family, and doing all the things you did before.